Hey everyone, welcome to Sparkle Thoughtful Thursday. Hopefully you are strapped in and ready for a little bit of thoughtfulness. I'm Sally Sparks Cousins, and today I wanted to bring to you a topic about giving yourself the gift of done. How many of us out there actually start things, constantly starting things, but we never seem to get it done? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. About getting shit done. All right, guys. So hopefully you're all strapped in and ready to go. So let's get stuck into it. Hi, everyone. How are you? All right. So today I really wanted to discuss with you finishing. I wanted to share that in my business, I truly believe the huge reason that it's been such a success is the fact that I'm a finisher. Yeah, I like to get shit done. And I am always trying to finish things. They may not be perfect, but they're finished. Now, I've not always been a finisher. I have started many projects and not finished them in the past, but recently, probably in the last few years, I have been highly focused on finishing. And this, I truly believe, is what has helped me to see growth in my business. Now, the reason for this topic today is because I've actually been reading a book by Jon Acuff. Well, listening. You know I don't read, right? I've been listening to a book by Jon Acuff. He's a New York Times and also a Wall Street Journal bestselling author. And if you're struggling with finishing, I would highly recommend that you grab this book. This book, it's actually called Finish. Give yourself the gift of done. He did write a book originally called Start, and from helping lots and lots of people actually set goals, he found that people didn't actually finish. They had no problem starting projects. I mean, hands up. How many of us are really good at starting new problems or projects, right? So many of us. We are more than happy to start a new project and jump from one shiny ball to the next. So when he realized that starting wasn't the problem, Jon commissioned a study where he had nearly 500 people, where he studied them for about 6 months to figure out what really works, what was holding people back from reaching their goals, and what, they're able to start, but not able to finish. And this book has been an awesome read, and he's pulled all that information together and he's written this amazing book that I've been falling asleep to a lot recently. I love listening to stuff before I go to sleep, stuff that's feeding my brain, giving me food for thought, but also helping me to switch off a little bit from my own business. So usually I'm listening to a podcast or a book, falling asleep most nights. But today I really wanted to chat to you about some quotes that really resonated with me that I've heard from Jon. And then I wanted to put my own little sparkle spin on these as well. So do us a favor. If you think that somebody out there could really benefit from this, make sure you hit that share button, share it to your wall, share it to your friends. If you know people or you are somebody who is not really great at finishing, go and share this out. I'd love to be able to help people with this. All right. So let me just tell you the quotes, and then I'm going to give you my own little spin on them. So quote number 1, starting is fun, but the future belongs to finishers. So what happens is we tend to focus a lot on starting a project. If you're out there, please comment below. Are you somebody who tends to start and not finish? We tend to overlook the finishing process. But the finishing is actually where all the good shit happens, when you actually get to the end and you finish that project. If you were setting a goal, and this is what most people would do, and they would have in their mind, if you were setting a goal and you were starting, and you had to say what was a 30-day challenge, What was the start of the 30-day challenge? What was the middle? And what was the end? Now, a lot of people would go, oh, well, the start would be day 1 to 10, and the middle would be days 11 to 20, and the end would be days 21 to 30. Well, after reading this book, it really made me rethink things. In fact, the start is actually day 1. The middle is all the stuff in between from days 2 to 29, and the end is day 30. Now, through the research that John conducted helping people set these goals, he found that the most common place for people to quit any goal was on day 2. That got me to thinking, and I went back through a lot of my courses, because through the courses that I run, what I do is I ask people to, comment on a post or to submit some kind of assignment to validate that they have actually completed. A lot of the 5-day challenges that I run, I'm only asking people to commit to 5 days of actually starting and finishing, not even 30 days. And I've personally found through these 5-day trainings that I do, day 1, huge amount of completion, massive interaction. And then on day 2, it drops considerably. Sometimes we're losing over 3/4 of the people on day 2. And this aligns with what John was actually saying, that most people quit on day 2. And the most common reason for people quitting on day 2 is due to not being perfect. So day 1, that's everyone's motivated, everyone's so pumped and excited and ready to kick off. And then John made this statement that he sees so many people throw those launch parties or the kickoff parties, or, things that really get you pumped and excited at the beginning, but nobody ever seems to throw that middle party, right? Because that's where all the grind happens. That's where you've got to put in the work and the effort to make it to the finish line, right? So day 1, totally excited. Day 2 to day 29, that's the middle. That's where the grind happens. And then day 30, that's when you get to celebrate and have that satisfaction. So how often would you start a project and then not follow through because you messed up on day 2? For example, maybe you start a diet and then you slip up on day 2, and then you're like, oh, well, I might as well quit now because I stuffed up on day 2. So you never follow through. So the next quote I wanted to lead on to is to be deliberate about perfectionism. The reason why most people quit is because they're not perfect, right? So you join a gym, you miss a day, and then you quit. You get all so pumped and excited on day 1, and then you just quit. So, and I see this as well, where people jump in and choose to do the Go Live challenge. They will come in, they will commit to day 1. On day 1, they'll do the commitment, but they've only got to get through 5 days. But what happens is they fall behind on day 2, or they miss the live, and then they just quit on day 2. Now, I had the attitude of doing that 365 days of going live, right? Now, if I missed a day and quit, I would never have been able to get to 365 days. Now, I did get to day 309 and I missed a day. And do you know what? I had people saying to me on the day that I missed, oh, well, it doesn't matter now. And I'm like, well, yeah, it still matters. It's not perfect. It's not totally perfect, but I still committed to getting to 365 days. Now, yes, I only did 364 days, but I went live multiple times on multiple days, but I was okay with the fact that it wasn't perfect. Now, can I still hold my head high and say I completed a 365-day challenge? Do you think I should still hold my head high? If I got to day 309 and then threw in the towel, would I be able to celebrate making it to 365 days? Do you think I'm still worthy of celebrating even though I missed a day at 309? So the biggest key is to admit that not being perfect is okay and just being okay with that. So the quote number 3 I wanted to point out to you that I read, which totally resonates with that explanation that I've just given you, is that a lot of perfectionists will prefer to get a 0 rather than getting a 3. So think about this. If, for example, you were going to go for a walk every day for 15 minutes, right? And then one day you realize you're really, really busy and you can only really go for a walk for 5 minutes. Most people would say, no, I can only do 5 minutes today, so I won't do it at all. Now, wouldn't it be better to still go for that walk for those 5 minutes and get a 5 rather than getting a 0? Isn't that still better? So most perfectionists, they tend to not start because they know they're not going to finish and it's not going to be perfect. And then what happens is not only do they skip one day of walking because they're not busy, then they're thinking, well, I haven't been walking. I didn't do 15 minutes every day, so let's just quit altogether. I'll give you another example. So I love to create marketing funnels, right? And lots of you see me get out there, especially my team. You will see me get an idea in my head about creating a funnel, and I want to start, I want to finish, and I want to publish that marketing funnel. Now, yes, I do publish a marketing funnel and it goes out there and it has links sometimes that are not working, or sometimes there are spelling mistakes in my emails. Now, if I wanted to wait until it was absolutely perfect and I tested and I retested and I retested again, I would probably never be able to smash out a funnel and get it out there in like a day, sometimes 2 days, usually a day, to know if it's actually going to work. The quicker I can get it out there and find out if it works, the quicker I can fix it, right? So I would still prefer to get it out there with broken links and have it sitting out there, and then people sending me messages. Yes, oh, you've said, you've put your and you've left off the R. Do you think it's going to affect my sales? Or maybe, I could have done a little bit more designing and made the picture look much more beautiful, or the landing page much more beautiful. But how many people actually go onto a landing page and choose not to buy something because it's not pretty enough? Not many, if any, right? So because people are so scared of things not being perfect, they would prefer just not to put it out there. Now, personally, wouldn't you prefer to get something out that's 80% done and it's making you money, and then you can fix the mistakes on the fly? So think about it. Wouldn't that make your business go ahead so much faster? All right, so quote number 4, developing a tolerance for imperfection is the key factor to turning chronic starters into consistent finishers. Wow, I love that. Developing a tolerance. Freeing yourself from not being perfect. I love this. The statement alone of being imperfect. You can build a tolerance up to being imperfect. It really made me think, what a wonderful way to look at things. If you see yourself as a perfectionist now, that's okay. But allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to put things out there. 80% done. I'm always talking about building your confidence muscles, and that you should do this by taking imperfect action, and that it will build up your confidence muscles, right? Well, the same being said for putting things out there that are not perfect. The more and more you do it, the more and more often you allow yourself to put things out that are almost finished. You will build up a tolerance to being better at being imperfect. I really, really resonated with that one. And what about you guys? Do you think you could do that? All right, so the next point I wanted to, or the next quote was, until is just the perfectionist wearing a Halloween costume. So using the word until often wears a cloak of responsibility. It pretends that it is not about being lazy, but rather about making sure everything is in order before you start. Well, think about that. Until. How often do you use the word until? It's living in denial, and really just it's an excuse. And you know I hate excuses. To me, that word until, a lot of the time, it is just an excuse. It's a state of mind. You will not start your own business, or you will not start writing that book until the kids are old enough, until I have enough money, until I've got enough time. I mean, if I said that I would never go live until I had the right lighting or until I brought a tripod, I probably never would have started going live. It was by the fact of going live and building my audience that got me motivated. And then I went out and invested in lighting and a tripod. Who says that and uses that word regularly, until? And who says that you can't just start? Who says that you've got to wait for the kids to grow up? Who says that? You can make your own decisions in life about what is and what isn't. There is no need to have perfect lighting to be able to go live. You are the one who are putting those stops in place. You are the one who is making that decision, that until. When you can remove that until and stop using it as an excuse, then you'll be able to move forward. I believe that you don't have to wait until. You just have to make time. You just have to make time for what is important enough to you so that you can achieve your goals. There will always be a reason to add that until into your sentence that you can continue to tell yourself. But if you're honest with yourself, really, do you need to wait until? So the final one I wanted to point out to you was, this is great, and I'm all about the fun. The quote is, make it fun if you want it done. Yeah, make it fun. When you ask people to name words that remind you of goals and setting goals, a lot of times people will say, to set a goal, things that come to mind is like, yep, you set a goal and then you've got to hustle, you've got to work hard, you've got to be persistent, you've got to have a lot of willpower, you've got to get into the grind. And I know I personally use these words. I do. And when you think about the word goal, do you think about using words like joy and happiness and excitement? And when you're thinking about trying to achieve a goal, a lot of us think that it's got to be hard. It's got to be a struggle to reach that goal. And this really got me thinking, who says that a challenge or a goal has to be hard? Why can't we have fun along the way? Why can't our goals be fun? Now, when I'm using the word fun, I'm not saying, when I hear that, it's got to be fun, make it fun and then get it done. I'm not saying, let's have a party. Woohoo, it's fun. Yay. No, I'm talking about the word deliberate, which I heard John use. He said, be deliberate about choosing to be fun, and not everything is going to be fun. But you can choose to make things fun. You can choose to bring joy into your life. You can find ways to reward yourself. One of the key drivers in running a successful business, and also a key driver into having great employees around you, is satisfaction, having satisfaction in what you do. And there are lots of studies out there. Google it. Satisfaction drives performance. So if you're happy doing what you're doing, you're going to want to increase your performance. If you only focus on satisfaction, then you're going to be happy and you're going to be excited and it's going to be amazing. But you're going to be really, really happy all the way to last place. You're not going to win anything, right? If you just focus 100% on being happy all the time. You need an even balance between satisfaction and performance. So again, if you only focused on performance and you're a high achiever and say you're making millions and millions of dollars and you're looking at the bottom line, yes, you may be a high achiever, but if you don't have any satisfaction, you could be making millions of dollars, but you could still be totally miserable doing what you're doing. So I believe that you really need to find a balance between joy in what you do and also achieving greatness, having good performance results. So even during the hard times, if you can be deliberate about finding things to be joyful about, reward yourself for a job well done if it's something that's hard and you don't want to do. Now, personally, if I have to do something and I know it's super hard and it's something I don't want to do, when I get to the end of it, I might reward myself with an episode on Netflix or, a really yummy lunch or whatever it is, a glass of wine. Find something to reward yourself so that you don't get stuck doing nothing because it's something like it's that big dirty frog, right? Find something to reward yourself along the way. All right, so let's do a little bit of a recap here about the 6 points or the 6 quotes that really resonated with me so far. And of course, I haven't even finished it yet. I've just been really, really enjoying it. So starting is fun, but the future belongs to finishers. So to me, I think about shiny ball chasers, right? So it's so easy to find something new to start when it's not exciting any longer. But the joy, the true joy and the accomplishment and the future belongs to those who actually get to finish that project. Quote number 2, be deliberate about perfectionism. So being deliberate means you understand that perfectionism is at a point, right? What do you consider perfect? Is 80% done perfect enough? To me, it is. Be deliberate about choosing what is perfect because there is no true perfect out there. It is what is perfect for you is perfect for somebody else. So choose the perfection that is going to take your business forward, your life, your happiness. Quote number 3. The perfectionist will prefer to get a 0 than getting a 3. So whenever you think to yourself, I shouldn't do that because I'm not going to do it or I don't have enough time to do all of it, doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. Even if it means only getting a 3 out of 5, do it anyway. Quote number 4, developing a tolerance for perfectionism is the key into turning chronic starters into consistent finishers. So practice being imperfect. That's okay. The more you practice, the stronger your tolerance will be. You will grow those imperfect muscles. So you will get to the end and you will finish. And finally, quote number 5, until. That word until. If you hear yourself using that word until, ask yourself, is it true? Or is until just your perfectionist in you wearing a Halloween costume and denying yourself the chance to move forward, using it as an excuse? And finally, Quote number 6, make it fun if you want it done. So focus on satisfaction and performance. Make sure you find ways to make yourself happy, even through those hard, sloggy bits in the middle, that middle area from starting to the finish line. There's only one day of starting, one day of finishing, or 1 hour of starting and 1 hour or 1 minute either end. And all the stuff in the middle, that's where we need to find things, be deliberate about finding ways to keep it fun, and not woohoo fun, like rewarding yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back. I mean, we do that inside of the elites, right? And awards night, just like awards night, we love to celebrate our wins and make sure you're celebrating the journey along the way. All right, there we go. That's Thoughtful Thursday for today. Also, you may be able to tell that this is a replay because today I'm actually on a plane. Yes. So I recorded this for you today because I'm on a plane on the way to Queensland and getting ready for tomorrow, where we will be running the Friday Swag Day, the Sparkle World Action Gathering up on the Gold Coast. Super, super excited. And I can't wait to see everybody's face to face. So make sure you comment below. Tell me if you're coming along to our swag event happening tomorrow on Friday. But until next Thursday, Thoughtful Thursday, I will see you there. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. Bye, guys.